So welcome to another episode of The Real Franchise. Today we are doing another episode of meeting some of our team. So today, joined by Neil. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you.
And Neil, I guess before we start off, just would you mind sharing where you are, when you started, what sort of business you have with James?
Sure. So I've got an interior cleaning business. So we've been operating for just over 4 years. So we started just before Christmas about 4 years ago. Before then, both my partner and I were in hospitality. So we'd worked hard for a lot of people, but never for ourselves. And we'd been talking about it for quite a while of doing something for ourselves. And obviously around that time you had COVID, which we did it fairly tough. But it also gave us plenty of opportunity to think about what we wanted to do. So we did a lot of research. It took us quite a few months, quite a few meetings. Settled on this. I think we wanted to focus on something that we could use our skill set. And we saw the cleaning part. While we hadn't cleaned houses before, we saw, I guess, the main part of it is the customer service side, which we've been doing for decades. It's hard saying that. We started 4 years ago. We took off fairly quickly. Probably, I think the first week was pretty slow, although we'd already booked a few jobs. Probably by our third week, we kind of hit our straps for what we could handle at the time. And then we've just grown since then. So now we have 2 cars on the road. We've got a couple of staff. We're looking at expanding again this year. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been fantastic.
Now, if my memory serves me correctly, because it's going back a few years now, when you started, I think the plan was you were going to start it and your partner, Sarah, was working in a restaurant, managing a restaurant. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right. So, I like I said, we started just before Christmas. So Sarah was managing a restaurant in the city. Yep. And obviously Christmas, summer being a very good time of year for tips and everything like that, she was going to stay doing that while I started up the business. But, about 3 or 4 weeks in, she had to resign. Because we just started getting business coming through the door. So,
So you were too busy, so you had to put your first staff person on, so to speak.
That's it. So some people might say I was a little bit soft back then and probably could have handled it a little bit more, but no, she joined across and, like I said, we've just grown since.
Okay. And I don't think I asked, where in the country are you based, your business?
So we're in northwest Sydney, so in the Ponds. So an up-and-coming area. 15, 20 years ago, this would have all been farmlands, but now it's all new developments.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Great. And I know you because I ask you this question all the time when you're meeting new people, because you're part of often meeting people looking at joining James, and I'll talk about why in a second. But you have a story that I love hearing. So you started your business, things took off, Sarah had to come join, and then you had a bit of a curveball out of left field. What happened?
Yeah, we it was a week before Easter, so we'd only been operating 3, not even 4 months. We had a bit of an issue with the job, so I had to pop around on a Saturday morning to go and check out that job, and I'd come home and it had been raining. So I just thought, you know what, I feel like I'm 18. I might just try and jump over this little muddy puddle. But I slipped on the pavement and then, broke my ankle in 3 places. It was, look, I was laid up for about 3 months. And obviously after that was a lot longer. I wasn't back to full capacity for a long time after that, but 3 months completely sitting without any movement. Sarah had to take over pretty quickly. We had to get staff in. We'd already been looking for staff at that time, So we kind of jumped and got a couple. Were they perfect? No, they weren't, but they helped us out. So, look, I guess during that time, what we figured out was the relationships and everything that we built with the customers helped us. It saved us. So many of those customers are still our customers now. But look, they understood what we were going through, where we kind of consolidated. We didn't worry about new business. We just made sure that we looked after what we had right there and then. And then, look, as soon as we were ready, we could take off again. And like I said, many of those customers are still ours. So
great. So, I mean, that's a daunting prospect for any sole trader to be taken out almost in your first couple of months. Is there anything that you look back on that really helped you get through that period? Because that would have sunk a lot of, people in a normal business, if you're an electrician and that happened, or what was it was there any things in particular that helped you get through?
Look, I think it was the communication with the customers. Like I said, they understood what happens. They knew that I wasn't there. They could see new faces coming through with new staff and things like that. So we worked really hard to just make sure that they were looked after. We might not have done the best job every single time because obviously a bit of change, but they understood. They talked to, okay, well, you know what, you did this, and this wrong. No problem. We'll fix it up next time. We always did. It was about just keeping that relationship and the communication.
Okay, great. Now, when people start with us, and a lot of people looking at this or that watch this video are probably considering joining us, and we tell people we provide all the training. And as you know, the first week there's 3 days in the classroom doing 8 steps training. And then once people have finished that, they then go and work with one of our national trainers and in their business, on the tools, doing jobs, that sort of thing. You're one of our national trainers now. You're actually the trainer for our cleaning business owners so anyone who's looking at this that's starting in New South Wales, Neil would be your trainer. I think probably all of our cleaning businesses in Sydney or in New South Wales at the moment, probably you've trained our existing team.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess what happens in those 4 days? What do you do with people? What are you trying to get people to have achieved when they have finished with you?
I guess, obviously, you just touched on it. They basically do 3 days of kind of the theory training. So how to run your business, working with the back of house systems, all that sort of stuff, marketing, etc. I guess we just put all of that into practice, what it looks like in the real world. So obviously we teach you how to clean a house. So from 8 a.m. Monday morning, we visit house after house, rolling through, concentrating on, I guess, what your bread and butter will be, your regular cleans. So really by the end of the 4 days, you're going to know how to approach a customer for a quote, give them the quote, enter the job, complete the job, and do all the invoicing. So we go through every single step of the process. We also go over marketing and things like that. What does that look like in the real world? Using social media, getting your face out there in the public. So how to kind of structure your day. We've only got you for 4 days, so it is jam-packed. Probably going to be a little bit sore afterwards because you've used muscles that you've never realised you've had before. But look, it's about, I guess, exposing you to as much of the business as possible so that you walk off on your actual day one being as confident as possible. Excellent.
Great. And then I guess once they start their businesses, do you ever hear from people again? Or
look, I always touch base. It depends on the person. There are people that started their business probably 6 months ago, and I still talk to them once a week.
Yep.
But definitely in that initial period, I'll touch base. I get them to contact me every single moment that they either have to go to a quote or I'm going to talk you through this. So, yeah, look, I keep up the communication easily for that first month.
Yep.
Because for a lot of that month, they're going to see things that they've never seen before, even with the training that we're able to give them. Yep. Because a customer will ask you a million questions that probably doesn't even have anything to do with interior cleaning.
Yes.
But, yeah, look, I still talk to some. But, look, some people like to figure it out for themselves as well. So,
yeah.
But, yeah.
So that support sort of there if they want it. And
yeah, 100%.
Yep. Awesome. Now, obviously what we're talking about is people starting in their own business. And I think, I know when I first got my book, looked at getting my first business, I had in my mind, some of the set benefits, like having more time with my kids. For me, I'd never drop my kids to school, and this was going to give me the opportunity to drop my kids to school each day, which is what happened. But I guess for you, having your own business for 4 years, have there been any other benefits that you didn't expect, things you didn't realise that you really appreciate now?
Yeah, look, I guess we stepped into it. You just touched on it there. We'd worked hard for people beforehand. We wanted autonomy. We wanted to run our own business. We wanted to be there for kids and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we have definitely gotten all of that. We set our own hours. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I guess probably one of the really surprising things is how well I work with Sarah, my partner.
Great. Yes.
Yep. Now, some people might think that, you know what, you work together, you spend 24 hours a day together. So there might be a chink in the armor or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, we've found that we really do work well as a team.
Yeah.
And that's not just obviously with the business, because we're running our own business where we've basically got our own shop. We've got to run the household. We've got to run the kids. We've got to do all of this.
Yes.
We've sorted it out, which is fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, I think I've been the same because my wife, as you know, works in the business as well. It was interesting in the beginning. We learned a few things quickly that there's certain things Sonia looks after and certain things I look after, and that works for us. I think one of the things that surprised me, thinking of this was not a benefit, but when I got into my first cleaning franchise with James, I didn't consider the rags. That sort of surprised me. Like the amount of rags that, particularly once you've got teams of staff, it's like every night, every afternoon putting the washing on and the dryer going. And
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes we're doing 2 loads a day.
Yep. Yeah, so things like that I didn't even think of. So I had to go buy a new dryer because we had some 20-year-old little thing that, just wasn't going to do the trick.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, maybe just a final thing then, as we wrap up this episode. You've now been in a business for 4 years. You've seen lots of people come. You've seen some go. So for people that are listening to this that are considering a business, whether it's James or not, do you have any tips of things that they really should be thinking of, or keep a lookout for this, or any tips from you?
Look, I guess don't look at it if you think it's going to be easy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But people don't become successful taking the easy road. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like working for somebody, because in most jobs you can work for somebody and then you can kind of shut down at the end of the day. Whereas you're running your own business. Okay.
Yes.
You've got to handle everything, from complaints to phone calls, doing the invoicing, the accounting, all of that sort of stuff. Yes, you get plenty of help with stuff, but it really does come down to you. So I guess thinking about that, why do you really want to do this business?
Yes.
That's because when times get tough, and I've had plenty of those little periods where, you know what, not a lot of business has come through this month, or we went through the injury just before.
Yep.
You will have tough times. Business is business. It's at those moments you got to think about, why am I doing this? And will it be enough to get you off your bum and go and attack it again, or are you going to feel sorry for yourself? So really put down some points on, why am I doing this, and will those get you through those tough times?
Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah. I literally call that the why. You've got to have that why clear, and that why will evolve. Obviously, yours has probably changed a bit from 4 years ago when you first started, but it's such a key. You've got to know why you're doing it. Yeah.
That's it. And look, you can think about, we touched on it just before in that, I want to pick up kids from school and things like there's these little bits, but will that be enough when you're not getting any business? Are you going to get out there and trudge the streets looking for business? Is that enough? It might be, it might not be, but you've got to set in stone, because you've got to have motivation.
Yep. No, that's excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Neil.
That's right.
Tune in for the next episode of when we meet someone else around the country. Have a good day.